Hi, this is Brian Pash, and welcome to today's podcast. Today I'd like to talk to you about how to inspect the quality of the referral traffic you get from third-party classified websites, and in this podcast I'm going to talk about CarGurus. In the description of this podcast there should be a link that refers to the LinkedIn article that I wrote on August 23rd, 2017, because it has the supporting graphs and charts that I referred to. After you look at the referral traffic from third-party classified websites, you could start to see different levels of engagement from these endemic portals compared to your other advertising investments. For CarGurus, I believe that car dealers who inspect the referral traffic will find out two very important things. Number one, CarGurus is a strong referral partner that generates measurable conversions in GA and sends highly engaged shoppers. Number two, that most dealers have underestimated the influence of CarGurus because of last-click attribution in their CRM or incomplete conversion goals. Now, in order to fully leverage GA to inspect your marketing channels, dealers need to understand that goals need to be created for phone, lead form, text, and chat conversion. Sadly, very few dealers are measuring all four conversion channels in GA. If you set up all your conversion channels in GA and also record other important actions that consumers may do on your website, well then GA has tons of great reports that will give you some insights into the quality of the traffic that's being sent to your website. Before I jump into the reports, I really want to talk to you about the digital blind spot. Remember that GA can only see the activity on the dealer's website. So a consumer who goes to cars.com, Auto Trader, or CarGurus, does all their shopping, finds cars that the dealer has, and never clicks on that link to visit the dealer's website, well, the dealer won't see that activity in GA, and the dealer has to rely on the reports that the endemic portals provide each month that shows how many times VDPs were looked at, how many leads, how many phone calls, those standard reports. One of the things that I'm pushing for in the auto industry is some standards on measuring engagement, and that includes third-party classifieds. I'm not as excited about how many VDP views that a vehicle gets on an endemic portal. I'm very interested to see what the consumer did on that VDP. Did they scroll down? Did they engage with the photos? Did they play a video? Did they use a payment calculator? These are the same type of engagement events that PCG has defined for dealership websites, and we're pleased to tell you that most of the major website platforms are providing more clear attribution and engagement data into GA as a result of our efforts to create some standards in the auto industry. It is my hope that the third-party classifieds follow suit and that they will also start to provide just not how many VDP views, but the engagement level of the consumers on those cars. Now, once you have goals set up, the first thing I show in my LinkedIn article is how to set up an assisted conversion report. So let's talk about some terms. Last click attribution is really what your website or CRM sees. A consumer can come to a dealer's website through a Facebook ad, later come back direct, later come back through an AdWords ad, and then later types in the dealer's name, submits a lead, and Google Analytics would say, hey, that lead came from an organic source. Your SEO company might even take credit for it, but there were 2 or 3 or 4, in some cases 10 and 15 other visits before the consumer converted. The assisted conversions report will show you how many times your marketing channels assisted or helped a final conversion. For this dealer, their last click attribution for CarGurus was only 15. That means if the dealer's CRM was set up properly and if the website company passed the referring URL on a lead conversion or the chat company on a chat conversion, well, they would only see 15 last click leads. But in fact, for this dealer, CarGurus influenced 364 other conversions. That's a 24-to-1 ratio. What does that mean? It means that CarGurus brought consumers to the dealer's website, but then the consumer came back another time through another channel and converted. Do you see how looking at last click attributions to measure the effectiveness of your third-party classified sites is so foolish? You miss so much of the activity that you could know about. And as I've already stated, you can't see what's happening on the third-party site. So when you want to know to the best of your ability what's happening on your website. So for this dealer, if they canceled CarGurus or another third-party classifieds because they only saw 15 leads in their CRM plus whatever leads CarGurus sent them directly, it would be a classic last-click attribution blunder. And this blunder's not unique to CarGurus. It's happening for other advertising channels as well. Facebook happens to be one of the channels in this article. And again, you'll see that if you went off last click attributions on Facebook, well, you would miss a whole group of other assisted conversions. And that would just be sad because, well, dealers should be knowing which elements of their marketing mix are generating conversions. Now, Google Analytics also has some attribution reports. The standard one that most dealers see is last click attribution, but in this article I show how to use a time decay model, and time decay means, hey, somebody came to the website 6, 7, 8 times. The sources closer to the conversion get more credit, meaning more credit is given to any touch points near the final conversion. The other model that I have in this article is called position-based attribution. This allows marketing professionals to assign different weights along the way. For example, you may assign a little higher weight to the beginning and even a little higher weight to the end. And then in the middle, you just divide up the points so that the first channel that you could see that influenced and the last get the most points. And then the 8 or 10 or 5 in the middle get what's left divided by the number of interactions. In both of these cases, the time decay showed a 17% increase in conversions and the position-based showed a 20% increase in conversions. So specifically, by not looking at attribution reporting, by not setting up goals properly, by not looking at more advanced marketing reports, dealers would be underestimating the value of a third-party portal, and in this case, CarGurus. Now, another way to look at the value of a third party is when a consumer leaves the third-party portal and comes to your website, how engaged are they? You would think that they should be a highly engaged consumer if they clicked on a VDP, visit this dealership, or deep link to the VDP. Well, Vissa tracks what consumers do on a dealer's website. Most dealers are inspecting their marketing investments based on last click attribution reports. Vissa, using the Google Tag Manager, looks at all of the activity that a consumer is doing on a dealer's website and scores them from very high scoring points, a lead conversion, a phone call, a chat, to very low points, 1 point for when the consumer scrolls down a page. What's very interesting is that we have a metric called ZEP, zero engagements per page, in Vissa, and it shows you the percentage of people who did nothing to even receive a point. And there's some ad campaigns that have 70, 80, 90% of the traffic not receiving any engagement points. These campaigns should be stopped and replaced with campaigns that have high engagement. For this dealer, CarGurus had very, very high engagement. One of the top 4 engaged sources, but the number 1 engaged source by volume, they had an engagement per session score of 74. The dealer's own portal was only 31 points. Honda OEM was 34 points. Yet the CarGurus traffic had 74 engagement points per session, and one of the strongest hard conversion channels. Ladies and gentlemen, Google Analytics, when set up properly, and advanced tools like Vissa can help dealers make smarter marketing decisions. Right now, most of you are making decisions off of last click attribution and incomplete conversion tracking. One last thing. In order to use the multi-touch and attribution reporting that's standard in GA. It does require something called a custom channel definition to be created because you want to isolate CarGurus traffic from other referral traffic. You want to isolate Cars.com, Edmunds, TrueCar, AutoTrader, right? All of the referral partners into their own channel so they can stand on their own and be inspected. CarGurus sends traffic to a dealer's website in two different ways. One is through a source that is CarGurus.com, all in lowercase. The second is CarGurus capitalized C and G with no .com. These reflect the two different paths that a consumer can take to a dealer's website, one being a link and one being a banner. In order to make sure that you capture both referring channels because they're named differently, and I've asked the company to stop doing that and name them the same, you just have to make sure that you use the right definition, which would only say source contains CarGurus, not CarGurus.com. And I explained that very clearly in a graphic on the LinkedIn post. Those of you who are listening to today's podcast and saying, yeah, I want to get my analytics set up. I want to make sure that my referring channels can be inspected. I want better reporting to make smarter decisions. I have 3 ways I can help. Number 1, there's a Google Analytics mentoring program that I lead, and you can sign someone up from the dealership if you want to build the skills internally to really dive into your data. Number 2, customers who sign up for Vissa will have their GA accounts cleaned, standardized, and optimized. Custom Google Tag Manager containers are created to measure consumer engagement. And of course, training on how to inspect all your marketing partners. The third way I can help is to encourage you to get out to the Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit in Boca Raton. That's November 8th and 9th. And if you are serious about really knowing which marketing investments are working in your local market to help you sell more cars, well, then you need to elevate your education, learn about the new tools, the technologies, and approaches to help you make smarter marketing decisions. If you're not involved in marketing, fine. Tell your marketing manager to attend the conference. Don't wait. Every month goes by that you're spending dollars and data isn't properly set up in GA. You can't go back and fix it. So the sooner you act, the better. I hope to see you at the upcoming Automotive Analytics and Attribution Summit. But if for some reason you can't make it, make sure you reach out to me and consider joining the Analytics Mentoring Program or requesting a demo of Vista. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. And remember, every Monday, there's a new podcast on my channel. Please share the link with your colleagues in the automotive industry.